Have you ever seen pictures of cats peacefully sleeping in the mosques of Istanbul or Cairo? They stretch out on expensive carpets, undisturbed. Why are these animals treated with such reverence and affection in the Islamic world? It's not just a coincidence or a cultural quirk. Behind it lies a fascinating story that began nearly 1500 years ago. Today, we'll introduce you to Muezza, the beloved cat of Prophet Muhammad, and explore why cats in Islam are more than just pets. They're symbols of purity and compassion. To truly grasp the depth of this special bond, we need to transport ourselves back to 7th century Arabia. Back then, the prevailing attitude towards animals was largely utilitarian. They were seen primarily as a source of food, transport, or protection. But with the advent of Islam, this began to change significantly. The new teachings introduced the idea that all living beings are creations of the Almighty, and humanity bears a profound responsibility towards them. And it was Prophet Muhammad himself who, through his personal example, demonstrated how this principle should be put into practice. Let's start with the absolute basics. To truly understand this unique connection, we first need to delve into a concept of immense importance in Islam: ritual purity. This isn't merely hygiene as we typically perceive it. It's a state of spiritual cleanliness that a Muslim must attain before performing prayer. Many things can disrupt this purity, including contact with certain animals. For example, according to many Islamic schools of thought, a dog's saliva is considered impure. After contact with it, a believer is required to perform a ritual cleansing. But cats are an entirely different story. They are an exception to the rule. In Islamic tradition, they hold a special status. Tahir. Translated from Arabic, this means pure or clean. Just think about what this signifies in practice. If a cat eats from your plate or drinks water from your cup, that dishware and water do not become impure. You can continue to use them, even for ablution or wudu, before prayer. Cat hair clinging to clothing does not invalidate the prayer. It is precisely this unique status of purity that opens doors for cats into Muslim homes and, perhaps most strikingly, into mosques. They can roam freely among worshippers, sleep on prayer rugs, and no one considers their presence to be out of place or improper. However, the reasons extend beyond mere practicality or ritual purity. To suggest otherwise would be an oversimplification. The true depth of this affection lies much deeper, rooted in the very core of Islamic tradition, the life and actions of Prophet Muhammad himself. It was his personal example that elevated the cat from a simply clean creature to a profound symbol of compassion. Now it's time to introduce the central figure of our story. Her name was Muezza. According to traditions passed down through generations, Muezza was the Prophet's cherished cat. She was his constant companion, often found napping on his lap during sermons or simply dozing peacefully beside him as he attended to his affairs. This close bond laid the foundation for the most renowned and poignant story, one that has, for centuries, shaped the Muslim world's reverence for cats. And this particular story is truly the key to understanding it all. Here's the story. Imagine the scene. The adhan, the call to prayer, rang out. Prophet Muhammad was preparing to go to the mosque. As he reached for his robe, he saw Muezza sound asleep, curled up on one of its sleeves. He faced a dilemma. On one hand, his sacred duty, the prayer, which could not be postponed. On the other, a small defenceless creature, lost in peaceful slumber. What would an ordinary person do? Most would gently rouse the animal or carefully shift it. But the Prophet's decision became legendary. He chose not to disturb his beloved companion. Instead, taking a blade, he quietly and carefully cut away the part of the sleeve where Muezza lay sleeping. He left her to peacefully continue her nap on that scrap of fabric, and then, wearing the robe with the now missing sleeve, he proceeded to prayer. This simple, yet incredibly profound gesture became a powerful lesson for all his followers. This act, sacrificing a piece of one's own clothing for the comfort of a sleeping animal, was profound, far exceeding a simple gesture of kindness. It served as a powerful living illustration of the Islamic principle of mercy towards all living creatures. It underscored how compassion and care for a vulnerable, defenseless creature could take precedence over material possessions, even one's own garments. This enduring narrative, passed down through generations, ingrained in the Muslim consciousness the image of the cat as a creature worthy of both respect and protection. It serves as a timeless reminder that true faith is not solely expressed through rituals, but also through everyday actions and the way we treat even the humblest of God's creations. Tradition recounts that upon the Prophet's return from prayer, Muezza was awake and, in a gesture of profound gratitude, bowed respectfully to her master. He responded by gently stroking her back 3 times. This very stroke is believed to be the origin of another beautiful legend, one that explains the incredible ability of cats. Legend has it that after stroking Muezza's back, Prophet Muhammad granted her and all her descendants a unique gift, the ability to always land on their feet. Of course, from a scientific standpoint, this phenomenon is explained by their flexible spine and an innate righting reflex. But this legend truly highlights how deeply the image of the cat has woven itself into the fabric of popular beliefs. They are not just animals, but rather creatures marked by a special blessing. There's yet another story that further solidifies the cat's status as a protector. According to this particular tradition, a poisonous snake once crawled into the sleeve of the Prophet's garment. Muezza, sensing the mortal danger, unhesitatingly pounced on the snake, killing it and saving her master's life. Have you ever noticed the distinct M shape on the foreheads of many cats, especially tabbies? They often form a pattern strikingly similar to the Arabic or Latin letter M. And in Islamic folklore, there's a fascinating explanation for this. According to a beautiful legend, this unique marking is none other than the imprint of the Prophet's own fingers. It's said that one day, expressing his profound love and gratitude for a cat, he lovingly caressed its head, and his fingers left behind this sacred sign, this letter, M, as a timeless reminder of his blessing. Of course, we understand that this is simply a distinctive feature of tabby cats' fur patterns, but the very existence of such a legend speaks volumes. It beautifully illustrates how deeply people wanted to connect these remarkable creatures with their Prophet, seeing in every cat a reflection of his kindness and compassion. Of course, captivating as these stories are, they largely remain in the realm of tradition and folklore. Not all of them find strict corroboration in canonical texts, yet their true value isn't in historical precision, but in the profound spirit they embody. They serve as vivid illustrations, much like in a book, that help illuminate the central idea, the Islamic emphasis on compassion and reverence for animals. These narratives contribute to a cultural code, fostering an emotional connection that transcends strict religious doctrines. Through these legends, cats have gained an aura of special, blessed creatures, a belief that resonates in the hearts of millions even today, transforming the simple coexistence of humans and animals into something far more profound. It's vital to clarify that this isn't idolatry or worship, but rather a deep-seated respect and profound love. This profound love wasn't confined to the Prophet alone. Like a gentle current, it flowed through his closest companions, who wholeheartedly adopted his tender regard for felines. A remarkable example of this is a man named Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr al-Dawsi, though in all likelihood you've never heard that full name. Yet you almost certainly know him by his historical nickname, Abu Hurairah. Translated from Arabic, that name means father of the kittens. Consider this, one of the Prophet's most celebrated companions, a man responsible for narrating an immense number of Hadith, received such an affectionate and unique moniker. Legend has it, he earned this name after finding a small, orphaned kitten by the roadside. Moved by compassion, he picked it up and began carrying it everywhere with him, often tucked within the sleeve of his garment. His bond with this tiny creature was so profound that the nickname, Father of the Kittens, became his enduring legacy. The story of Abu Hurairah is far more than just a charming anecdote. It's a powerful illustration of the profound reverence early Muslims held for the Prophet's teachings. An affection for cats wasn't considered strange or eccentric. Quite the opposite. It was seen as honourable and highly commendable. As a renowned transmitter of Hadith, Abu Hurairah himself conveyed numerous accounts and sayings that underscored the importance of treating animals with kindness. His example, coupled with that of the Prophet himself, solidified in the Muslim consciousness the belief that caring for cats was a righteous and divinely pleasing act. This wasn't mere sentiment. These principles are deeply embedded in Islam's sacred texts, particularly in the Hadith, collections of traditions detailing the words and actions of Prophet Muhammad. These texts serve as the second most significant source of Islamic law, after the Quran, and within them, the topic of showing kindness to cats receives considerable attention. Let's delve directly into these texts. Within the Hadith collections, we find specific directives and sayings that profoundly shape a Muslim's relationship with cats. For instance, a widely quoted saying declares, "Love for cats is part of faith." While some scholars debate its authenticity, it beautifully captures the prevailing sentiment towards these animals. Other, more authoritative hadith affirm cats' status as pure creatures. One such hadith states that cats are among those who constantly move around you, underscoring their deep connection with humans and the household. The Prophet explicitly declared that cats are not impure and even permitted the use of water from which they had drunk. These injunctions are not mere recommendations. They form the very foundation for a believer's daily life. Now let's revisit a pivotal moment that truly defined everything. Just picture this scene. The Adhan, the sacred call to prayer, rings out, the most significant moment in a Muslim's day. Prophet Muhammad is about to rise, but on the sleeve of his flowing robe, a small creature sleeps peacefully. Muezza, his beloved cat. What would an ordinary person do? Perhaps gently brush the animal aside. But what does the Prophet do? He takes a knife and carefully cuts off a piece of his own robe. He proceeds to prayer with his garment now incomplete, simply to avoid disturbing the peaceful slumber of the tiny cat. This act is far more than just a heartwarming anecdote. It's a profound, timeless lesson that demonstrated to all his followers the true essence of compassion and mercy. He established a standard where the comfort of a defenseless creature could be considered more important than a material possession, even one belonging to the Prophet himself. This is precisely why the reverence for cats in Islam isn't mere sentimentality. It's a direct emulation of the Prophet's example, a living embodiment of the principle of compassion for all living beings that lies at the very heart of the faith. Cats therefore serve as a timeless reminder that kindness towards even the smallest of creations is indeed a path to gaining the pleasure of the divine. Thank you for watching this video until the end. We hope you found it both insightful and interesting. If you enjoyed this, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our future content. And now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever encountered cats in mosques during your travels? Share your stories and even photos in the comments below.